And here we go. So a very, very warm welcome. I'm excited about the session from, whether you're live on this recording or whether you can listen to it afterwards. We on module 5 and we're talking about smart marketing, and we've been taking everyone in this series through the money train. So if you've not been listening to that, I really, really want to recommend that you go back to module 5 and listen to all these recordings around the money train and how the money train really works. Especially if you are worried about things like AI and how it's going to affect marketing and what changes. I think it can be very valuable for you to use the money train in your marketing and sales process, because at the end of the day, what we have here with the money train is a marketing and sales system that can be used anywhere, with any product, with any service, with anything you do offline, as well as with any funnel you've built online. So today in the money train, we are talking about the Love Carriage, which is your ability as a business owner to inspire potential customers to start valuable and lasting relationships with you. So just to quickly recap, and for those of you who've not seen the money train before, we're in a process here where we are showing you how to get people on your sales and marketing system. We call it a money train, where we start with the lead carriage, then we take the leads you've generated into the trust carriage, then into the love carriage, which we're talking about today, then into the sales carriage, and then into the journey carriage. And today we're specifically talking about the love carriage. But before we get into that, let's just quickly stand still in this money train on the difference between the trust and the love carriage, because the lead carriage is obvious, right? And if you're sitting today here and you want to increase your cash flow, or you want to have more clients, you really want to go back to the drawing board, and you really want to go back to how you profile and define your lead, which we talk about in the lead carriage. And you really want to go back to your activity and the type of activity you're driving to get people through the door and into the lead carriage. But if you feel you've got a lot of leads hovering around, but the problem is you're not converting those leads, then your focus should probably be more on the trust carriage and more on the love carriage, which we're talking about today. But most people ask me, Landi, what is the difference between the trust and the love carriage? They just seem incredibly close. Now, how cute is this dog? I just want to say, just look at that facey there. So I want to start with the difference between the two carriages first, before we jump into the love carriage. And the difference for me is, when you get a person through the door, when you have a person in your lead carriage, and if we're talking new business development, because a lot of people work on their current client base, but they completely forget about new business development. But if you're focusing on new business development, then when you get your lead from lead carriage, meaning you've just identified them as a qualified lead and you want to get them into the trust carriage, in the trust carriage, you basically getting strangers to trust you. It's that simple, right? You're overcoming objections. That's what you're doing. And so if you didn't listen to the trust carriage, that was the previous one in the series, I would really recommend that you go back. But in the trust carriage, you're literally taking a stranger and you getting them to trust you. And many people in their sales funnel do not make that an actual strategy, or they have one strategy and they apply it to everyone. Now, recently we had our Trend 2035 event, which talks about trends in business and tech and how it could be looking like in 2035. And I think something that really, really came out is that, we're now in the era where we not only have to get people to trust us as an expert in our field, we have to hyper-personalize things for people. And so that doesn't just go to the products you develop for people, that also goes in the way people come across you, the way that people find you, and how niche and specific it is when they find you. Because remember, in the future, it's not necessarily going to be that you have this brand and people find the brand. It's more that you're going to be having a brand that's so niche and so specific that AI and algorithms can find you for people. So to give you an example, I would follow people who's healthy on the road. That's something that's been important for me. But in order to find these people, I have to put certain criteria in place. I have to say, I want someone who can work with a female who's usually this age, who's in this stage of her life, who likes to eat this way, blah, 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 blah. And then an AI assistant would potentially find that one or two people for me. So you want to be able to, when you attract people to your money train, if we may, to be able to not only find you because you are so well positioned and so niche in what you do, you also want to be able that when they find you, that they can trust you, and then trust you, especially as a stranger and as an expert in your field. So that's the lead and the trust carriage as a quick overview. Now you have to get people into the love carriage, and where the trust carriage is about overcoming objections and getting people to trust you, the love carriage is about building relationships with people and building real, authentic, lasting relationships with people. And this is really where the train starts getting momentum, and that is really where it starts to take off. So the love carriage that we're talking to about today is about building meaningful relationships, and more specifically, the return of meaningful relationships. You would think in the age of AI, relationships going to be gone. My prediction is it's going to have to become more meaningful because people are freaked out a little bit. They're skeptical. They scared our humanness is going to be stolen, which, by the way, if you're a human, that probably won't happen because you're in control of your humanness. But people are scared of these things. And so what I find from a consumer behavioral point of view and a psychological point of view is that when people are scared about something like technology, they seem to go the other way. So they look for more meaningful relationships because of the technology. So this is a very good time for you in your sales and marketing process to really go and revisit what you do when a lead comes into your universe. Do you bring them in and then tell them about your business and try and sell them immediately? Because that's probably not going to work in future because people are more skeptical. Or do you bring them into the universe and actually put a strategy in place that help them to trust you, and then after that, follow that up with a strategy that deepen the bond with you and the person and create more of a meaningful conversation. So rather than looking at the future as tech only, start looking at the future as tech is going to be more of a powerful enabler, that's for sure, but our relationships is probably going to become more meaningful. The conversations is probably going to become more deeper, and we're going to have longer lasting relationships as people because of technology. It's a dichotomy, isn't it? So you really want to look at today's session, not only from a sales and marketing point of view. You maybe want to finish the session today and go and revisit your ability to have good relationships with people. And luckily, we have something like families, many of us, and we got friends. And these are places in which you can test how well you are with relationships. Now, I can't tell you you're good with relationships or not necessarily, because I'm not there with you on a day-to-day basis. I'm not your family member. I'm not your friend. Your best friend, let's say it like that. I would like to think of you as your friend, me as your friend, but I'm not your best friend who's there with you every single day. You see how you show up, and I'm certainly not your client. So these are the people where you want to go and ask yourself, am I really as good in building meaningful relationships as I think I am? So a way to look at whether you are good at that is to see how deeply you are trusted by your family members, by your friends, and by your clients. So if your family members are not inviting you to things and you're not really on speaking terms, you may not be that good. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm saying that to use it in the sales and marketing context and say, look, you may be leaving a lot of money on the floor. If your siblings had not been speaking to you for a few years, then there's maybe areas for you to improve. And, when your clients, when you don't have a high retention rate, if people then stick around your ecosystem, the bonds that you're forming with people might not be that good either. It's a shocker, isn't it? To think of it like that, right? I mean, we are conscious leaders. So for me and my conscious leadership is not to sit here and criticize each other. For us, conscious leadership is about leading by example. And the only way to really do that is to constantly bring out a better version of ourselves. So this is what the conversation is around today, is to challenge yourself in a meaningful way, whether you are that good in creating trust and whether you are that good in creating meaningful relationships with other people. So the thing that comes in here is polarization. And pardon me, polarization touches a little bit on diversity. Now, you might ask, Landi, how are you bringing this now together? How's diversity suddenly touching on polarization? Now, the idea is to have, when it comes to relationship building, as many different people around your life as possible, but also people who share in your values. So it's a bit of a catch-22. So the first part of improving your relationships with other people is to start getting along with people that's different than you. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about sex and race and all those things that's overused. I'm talking about a person whose opinion differs from you, which is, how many times do we have social conversations or dinner parties, whatever, and we sit there, let me tell you, all of us fall into that trap. You're so freaking opinionated about what's going on in the world and what's right and what's wrong. I see Claire laugh because we all do that, right? There's not one person that doesn't do it. Now, I want you to be able to polarize. Good relationships is showing people your opinion and other people showing their opinion, but you get along anyway. That's tough, right? That's really tough, because now you go, oh gosh, if you don't do it, you are not into diversity. Another shocker. I'm dropping the shocker bombs today, right? If you only hang out with people who think like you are not into diversity, inclusivity. You're not that person. You may think you're that person, but you're not that person. So relationship building is hearing another person out, listening to how they're different than you, and go, right, let's, rather than agree, let's value align. And this is really important for you finding clients. And this is really important for you retaining clients in your business. So I should be able to sit with Chris on this call and say, Chris, I don't agree with your opinion. Me and Chris may have a fight about what is the healthiest thing to eat, right? Chris go, look, the healthiest thing to eat is a carrot. Landi, I'm telling you now, I've been in bodybuilding, it's a carrot. I go, Chris, no, you don't understand me. It's not a carrot. I am menopausal. That carrot is going to spike my blood sugar. You don't understand. Now we back forth. Is it a carrot or is it not a carrot? Is the carrot? But if you look at me and Chris, our values in terms of health is aligned. So we both want to achieve health. That is the way you can look at the people that come into your ecosystem. So your values are aligned. You both feel passionate about certain things, but you allow yourself to disagree. So polarization when it comes to sales and marketing is highly celebrated. So you want to look at people whose values aligned with you, but then at the same time, you also want people within that ecosystem to be able to disagree with you. And so it sounds a little bit complex, but it doesn't have to be that complex. So let's say, for example, you're a leader, the value that's aligned, that you all into leadership and want to help other people become the best version of yourself. So you all value personal development. You all value professional development. You all value leadership. And that should be very clear in your brand and your algorithms so that people can trust you and build a relationship. But once they're on your train, you can't expect people to sit on that train and agree with everything you say. So I really just want to differentiate between those two things, because I do think people at the moment, all of us are getting a little bit confused, right? We're getting a little bit confused here. So, but we want to be able to be clear on that so that we can go back to the drawing board now more than ever and build relationships with other people. And I really want you to re-listen to this session at some stage and use phrases out of this if you want to, and quote it on your social media and your LinkedIn for other people. Because why? Because that's what leaders do. Okay. So then I'm going to take you. So there's the polarization. It's the be yourself. That's basically what I'm saying. Don't hide behind your opinion. You're very welcome to have an opinion. You should be able to go out there and say, I think A, B, and C. And I'm not talking just social media. I'm talking at your dinner tables. I'm talking with your siblings. I'm talking about your parents. I'm talking about your best friends. I'm talking about those people you're not talking to anymore because they have a difference, a difference in opinion than yours. You may want to go back to them and practice with them by today picking up your phone or your WhatsApp and say, hey, I know recently we had a dinner and we had a difference in opinion, but I want to absolutely assure you that I really, really love you. And I do think we values align and I really respect what you're doing. And you're going to be blown away. You're going to be blown away. I mean, today, by the way, is the 369 portal. It's a very powerful portal. So you have the opportunity today to go and set some of your relationships right because of the intention you're putting out there. So picking up your phone and checking in with the top 3 people who you pissed off recently or who pissed you off can have profound vibrational effects on your business, on your manifestation ability, and on the things you've been asking through that's not coming through. So that is just a hashtag, just saying, right? So I got a octopotion here for you. That's going to help you reestablish relationships with people, but will also help you in your marketing and sales strategy. Now, when I say it will help you in your marketing and sales strategy, you know, you want to have a person in your lead carriage and you want to sort of welcome them in there and say, welcome into my universe. You're now on my lead carriage. You want to, at that stage, already qualify the person by looking at values alignment, but also looking at, ways in which you can polarize yourself. For example, you do like coffee, or you live on an island, or you into fashion or whatever. So you want to bring that already together in the lead carriage and already in your brand, your brand, so that people can recognize you. Then you want to have a strategy in place, a trust strategy for every single person that comes into your business. In the interim, it will blow your mind because you'll go, oh, how can I have so many trust strategies for different people? But I promise you, eventually, those trust strategies will become 2 or 3. You'll learn that most people that is values aligned with me and that's in my universe, I have to do something that works for them. For example, we've learned masterminds is a very powerful trust strategy in our universe, as well as, well, any form of event and stages are very powerful trust strategies, but it took a while for us to personalize with our audience to see what get their trust quicker. So we just won't sell a person unless they've been through one of our trust strategies. In fact, we've noticed if they've not gone through one of our trust strategies, it's a tough client. They're demanding. It's not because they're a bad person, it's because we did a poor job in getting them to trust us, right? They sort of come in with a wariness. They're like, who's these people? And they can go into a sale, but the energy of them is like this. It's like, for those who's listening to it, I'm like skeptical. I've got a skeptical face. It takes them longer to check us out, even though they've already bought. Whereas if the trust is done before the time, even if there's more time that go into trust, it's a super client. I mean, there's immediate love. There's a bond, a trusting bond that makes that person believe that this person's got my best interest at heart. And that means a good trust strategy has been put in place, right? Then we get to the love strategy, which is now the potion. And again, the stronger the love strategy, and again, it's not a nice to have, it's an actual strategy that you put in place for the person. They've been through a trust strategy, now they need to go through a love strategy. So many of you on this call has experienced the love strategy where you had a one-on-one call with Mike and he went like, right, tell me what's your problem. How can I give you some love, right? How can I help you? Let's now look into your specific situation. And Mike didn't do 10 of those. I mean, you're not running a call center or a prostitution business, where you have to just give and give and give and give and give. And before you see your cheeks are freaking sucked in like this and you're burned out and there's no money in your bank account. That's not sound business practice, right? You can give people one love strategy, but when you give them that love strategy, give them your entire heart, right? And those are the love strategies I'm going to be talking about today. You can give them 2 love strategies. If you say to me, Landi, I'm sorry, I'm working on my people pleaser psychology, I'll say, look, do 2 love strategies if it makes you happy. By the time you get to 3, I'm going to go, here comes the red card. There's a bit of call center prostitution vibe going on there. And we're going to have to work on the self-love, right? So you're You can't just give. If you give, and there's nothing that comes into return, whether that's money that comes into return or something, or barter agreement, whatever, you are energetically out of balance. In other words, you are you don't provide self-love. You're not into energy exchange, and that's going to show up somewhere else in your life, right? So are you ready for your octopotion? Let's see how we can give people love. And again, go and practice with your siblings and your friends and your spouses and your partners. Don't avoid these people, because many times I find people are brilliant with love strategies when it comes to their clients, but things at home are not very kosher. And that means you've not dealt with the elephant in the room, right? That means you've not dealt with the real stuff. So here's your octopotion. How can we really bond with people, and what love strategies can be put into our business in order to get them to into the sales carriage? Remember, the more powerful the lead, the trust, and the love, and especially the love. I find the love is where the people start going, okay, I'm in love with you. I'm sorry. I tried to avoid you. I tried to get away from you. I thought you were this and this, and I thought of 1,000 reasons why I shouldn't have you in my life, but okay, you got me. I'm in love. This is where people go, okay, how can I work with you? So the better you do this, the better people's going to go, I actually now can't live without you, because I have head over heels fallen in love and I want you in my life because I saw your heart. And with AI and with tech, seeing a person's heart is going to be more difficult. So if you are willing to put yourself out there and give your heart to people on this journey with you on the money train, you're going to have people fall in love with you left, right, and center. So the first thing you can do is, solve people's problems. Really, just solve their problems. And many people come to me and say, Landi, I've got this intellectual property, and how much do I give of myself? And should I just give them their little bit in the beginning? Now, me and Mike do say to people, look, if you don't want to give everything away, show people why they should be doing something, what they should be doing, but not how they should be doing. That is just being smart, right? So you can show them until you blue in your face, solve their problems with why they should be solving something and what they should be solving. A very clever way to do that is many times an assessment, because the assessment show them what they should be solving, but it's not giving them the answers exactly of how they should be doing it. So, but solving people's problems will always make you popular. Now, you may say to me, Landi, I don't want to be popular, really. Look, I've never really come across a person who don't want to be popular. People don't handle rejection well. No one does, right? So to walk into a room, I get it so many times. Oh, Landi, yeah, okay, no, I don't really, I've had enough. I don't care what people think about me anymore, blah, blah, blah. That's true to an extent, right? I want people to get to a point where they don't care what other people think about them, in the sense that your own individuality comes out and you feel comfortable to express. But to some extent, you always, as a businessman or woman, gonna want to manage your reputation, and you're gonna want to be aware of what people think about you. I mean, that's branding, right? That's personal and professional branding. So you want to solve people's problems, and you know what? It will make you feel incredible. When you solve people's problems and you get to the end of your day, you'll feel industrious and productive. And you do it by giving talks at people's events. If you're a professional speaker, you want to be charging a lot for your keynote. And that's one of the things me and Mike work with you on, is to really work on international level and charge a lot. But there's going to be many, many situations where you have to give talks at networking events, like we do at masterminds, whatever. It's incredible, powerful sampling, because you have the opportunity there to solve people's problems. So you want to think of these boutique events where you can solve people's problems. Maybe you speak at someone's business network. Maybe you speak on a webinar. Or maybe you do these one-on-one discovery calls if you're more of a consultant. But that is giving 15 minutes of your time, or 30 minutes of your time, and 45 minutes. We do a lot of that with podcasts, where we get on people's podcasts as hosts. And our mission on that podcast is just to solve problems. A second one is host micro trainings like the mastermind I mentioned. Maybe have business meetings one-on-one, where you meet a person in a hotel in a beautiful setting and you just solve their problem, or provide industry reports. Let's say you're in the industry of online marketing, you want to have a beautiful gloss industry report that just solves problem after problem after problem after problem. And if a person is in a predicament, you send them that report. Or if they're at a meeting, you have that report printed in front of you and it's stunning. And after the meeting, you say, look, you're really awesome, and but you've got a lot of problems. Just take this report and go and work through it. And the more complex the report, the more the person will feel that you love them if you highlight the top 2 things in the report that they should be focusing on first. So rather giving them the whole report, and you just say to them, look, just go to section 3. Just go to section 3. You can thank me later. Go. That person is probably going to circle back at some stage and go, look, this is just too complex. It's too much. I need your help. Can I work with you? So that means you've shown them real good love there, right? That's how you can solve people's problems. And it's insane. Previously when I said to people, do an industry report, they're like, Landi, please, don't you understand that I don't have time? Now, your enemy, AI, that you don't like a lot at the moment, can put an industry report probably together very quickly for you, which will make it your friend, right? So this is how we let the humanity and relationship building and AI work together and not against each other, right? The second thing you can do for people is save them time. Boy, oh boy, people really, really appreciate it because everyone is busy, right? It's our theme word. How are you doing? Do you ask a person, oh, I've been busy. And you? Oh, no, I've also been busy. That's how we talk now. You don't go, oh, I've actually had a really crap week because I have a loved one in hospital, or you know what, actually this or that. No, we're busy, right? So this is indoctrinated into our minds. So because of that indoctrination, doing something that removes the busyness for people is highly appreciated and may even be mistaken for real love. So ways that you can actually do this for people is to help them facilitate online summits. So you have, for example, Gillian and a Claire coming together. Gillian and a Claire goes, we both want clients, but we want to accelerate the process of lead generation. So why don't we jump on a call and do a summit together online that touch on a certain topic that's not in competition with each other, and we get Claire's people there and we get Gillian's people there, and hey, why don't we just get 5 other people in the circle of excellence there? We do a summit together and we lead generation together. We all work together. And if a person like Claire more than Gillian, good for Claire. And if they like Gillian more than Claire, good for her. But we're all in it together and we are all going to save time for each other. Another thing would be to educate people via webinars, and if your approach is, I'm doing the webinar to save you time, you'll always have people on that webinar because you feel you're saving them time. For example, in many respects, us doing these webinars is saving you time because now you have to reach out to Mike. Now you have to go, oh, Mike, can I please have a coaching call with you to talk about my lead generation? Now you go, okay, Adila, I can have this time. Now Adila go, oh, I can't have this time. Now Mike go, what about this time? Now you find a date a week from now, right? Now you're on the call. Now you're going to implement it. 3 weeks later, you implement your lead generation strategy. With the webinars, we sort of putting things out there that gives you instant solutions. Hopefully you're making notes now. And when I get off the call, something popped for you because it's the 3694 portal. And you go, damn, I didn't thought of that. I'm going to do that immediately. And that immediately will take a little bit of my worry away and it will save me time. So this is how webinars is useful to people. So you can run an evergreen webinar once a week. You can run a webinar once a month, and you can call it your time-saving webinar or your remove busyness webinar or something that makes people feel that you're actually out there trying to make their lives easier for them. Then you can offer the online strategy calls. Again, the one-to-one really helps people, the discovery calls. And you can see how you can combine saving time with solving problems here, and then useful connections. That's really, really helpful for people in order for you to connect them to someone. Adila may be traveling to Saudi Arabia, and I just say to Adila, go and speak to this person. Or Adila, we know this person is operating in Saudi. You two should get on a call and Zoom. Can we connect you? boom, life changes. How many of you had a life change with one connection? In fact, the saving time and the providing useful connections is a big reason why me and Mike have put this private club for Circle of Excellence together, is so that ultimately you can go to France and have a Circle of Excellence networking event there once a month. And you can go to South Africa and you can have a Circle of Excellence networking event there once a month. And you go to Auckland and you can have a networking event. Gosh, you can travel, you can schedule a whole trip around the networking event dates if you want to, because you'll just connect. That's why people come to Bali and all those things. Claire, we'll be seeing you there very soon. You're going to walk out of Bali and you're going to say, oh, Mike and Landi, it was so nice to spend time together with you. Thank you for the content. But what's going to light you and what's going to put you on fire is the connections, the people you've met there and the people you've bonded with. So, so that's where you're really saving people time, because now Claire goes and she meets a person, then you have a conversation and Claire goes, you have no idea how much time this has saved me now, because I never thought about this before, and we're going to do something together, and we're magnifying our brand because of that. So, and we want to ultimately try and have 50 area managers worldwide. So if you know of anyone in any country who's interested in being an area manager, meaning they're going to run an event once a month and be the catalyst for these connections, do make contact with me or Mike or Chris, because everyone's going to benefit. We're creating a hot pot of connections here. We're creating a global family, right? So, and we're doing it out of love. Everyone's going to benefit, but that makes us happy. It makes us happy when a photo goes on Facebook and Chris and Claire actually met each other and they're standing there whoop, on a photo. Then we go, oh, finally, cool people get to meet each other, So, okay, so the third thing to spread the love is to make things special for people. This especially can be tried with your family. If things has not been going that well, you be the higher person. That's what conscious leadership is. How many of you have said in your life, I'm not going to reach out to them because they've not reached out to me, or I'm not sick of reaching out to people that never reach out to me. I lean towards being that person. Like, you haven't reached out to me, I'm not going to reach out to you. Mike is brilliant with not doing this. He always takes the higher road. Every single country we travel to, he goes, we need to check in with this person, with that person, with this person, with that person. And in the beginning of our relationship, I was like, really? This person is not even checked in with you? Now I've completely pulled my ass in, and I've learned from him, right? That this is what you do. This is what you do. You check in. You become the matriarch or the patriarch of your family. Doesn't matter if you're the oldest or the wisest. You become that. That's what conscious leadership is. So you pick up the phone and you give yourself a hard swallow, and you pick up the phone and you go, look, I know we've not been in touch really, and the last time we saw each other, it wasn't the most pleasant situation, but I really want to say to you, I've been watching you on Facebook and you have killer fashion sense, and I just think my life is not going to be that cool without you in it, and I really enjoy how we laugh together at stuff, and I know you eat meat and I eat vegan, but at least we share the value of we both extremists, so let's just make it work, right? Phone down. So this is actually a true story. This is the story of me and my brother, right? We used to kill each other every single dinner. We fight over meat and not meat, and it was insane. And one day we got on the phone and we said, look, we're actually both extreme people. We can't do things balanced, right? We always have to freaking head in one incredible direction. We're not normal people. So let's agree on the fact that we're not normal people. And we had a big laugh, and we're so close because of that conversation. That one conversation changed our lives. It was actually insane. And you know what? We're going to anyway realize we had to do this when we're on our deathbed. So might as well get going, right? Be the higher person. So think how you can make it special. Be the first to invite people to dinner. Invite your clients to dinner. If they're sitting there in the Trust Carriage and they've been sitting there forever and the relationship has not been deepened, take them for a coffee in a hotel. Ask them about their life and their children and solve a problem for them, or give them a report or whatever. Be the wingman at big meetings. Say to a person, look, I see you in corporate and you've been complaining how to get into corporates. You're sitting there in the boardroom all alone and people go with their guns, pew, 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 and you just sit there and go, everyone is asking me this question. I want to magnify my brand, help other people magnify their brands by going to their corporate meetings. Next time you're at a networking event, say to a person, hey, what are you doing? If they go, I work with corporate clients, say, hey, come to one of your next meetings at your wingman. I promise you I'll shut up and I won't steal your business. I'm literally there to magnify your brand, but can you do that for me next time back? So in other words, we move into the corporate and we put ourselves out there as a team, as opposed to people going one-to-one. When I was a consultant, I did that. We used to go in 4 people together, and it magnified our brand massively, because they saw us as a conglomerate. They didn't saw us as a mom and pop individual shop, a company, which makes a huge difference. Offer that to people. And you'll have huge results, because they will so appreciate it. You know what they're going to do? You're going to sit there and not speak a lot. All you're going to do, you're going to move in. You're going to sit in the boardroom. You're going to introduce the person in a way that make them feel like a rock star. You're going to take instructions from that person, which is tough for the ego, right? Actually, you want to be the expert. Now you're promising to go to someone as their wingman, woman. You're just there. You're just the wingwoman. You're just the wingman. You walk out. You do a testimonial sort of for the person, and you let them get the sale, and they return the favor. You know what they're going to say afterwards? They're going to say, you, Adila, you're amazing. I just want to let you know you're amazing. You can do that and introduce people at events like that as well. I mean, speakers on the call, the introductions are bad, right? I think we should get someone who just specializes in the introduction of speakers, right? Like, I'm serious. Like, people can't introduce speakers. It's either such a long essay that the audience fall asleep, or it's so short it doesn't do them justice at all, and it's never personable. It's always like, let me now introduce Claire Boss. Claire Boss started la. People go, oh, that's exciting, right? So you can introduce people at network events or at speaker gigs, whatever, and say, look, I'm going to actually practice this with you. I'm going to make it amazing. I'm going to run it past you, and you're going to look amazing, you know? And I'm going to do little things like, I'm going to say, let's give Claire a warm welcome. My voice today. Now I have to have a tea. You're doing that for the other person, and I've seen you done that, Claire, for people. You're actually brilliant. Like, you got that energy, and you got that vibe, and you get people going or whatever. We can do that for other people that love you. Surprise people with corporate gifts. It's actually the easiest thing, and it's not gone, you know. What do people use? Do you remember that time when we all used flash discs? Gosh, if someone gave me a flash disc, I was like, I can't have enough flash discs. Thank you so much for doing it. What if you actually work with a European audience, and the rainy season has just started, and you give them all the most beautiful branded umbrella to announce the season, but you know they're going to use that umbrella every single day, but your brand's going to be on there, not in a distasteful way. I mean, you don't want to give them an umbrella with your whole freaking face on it. No one's going to use that. It's weird, right? But you want to have a subtle thing about your company on there, and not just a logo, maybe a QR code that's subtle, that can remind people that you got them covered, you know? I mean, excuse the pun, but, you know, you can get really creative, and people love gifts. They love gifts. I tell you, if you go, and you don't have to give every single one gifts, go to people who stuck in your Trust Carriage, because they've not made the transition between trust and love. So target them, you know, choose your top 10. You don't have to go and print 500 corporate gifts. That's why people have garages and storage spaces full of crap, because they go and do it go and say, for these 10 people, I'm going to do it. Next month, I'm going to do it for other 10 people, but I'm giving them something different. Do you see that the theme here that's unfolding is really getting to know people intimately? And I think this is the toughest for people, caring about people intimately, really not just giving them a gift going, once they have that umbrella, they're going to be my client, I've hooked them. But to say to yourself, I actually can't wait to see the look on their face, because this person is a freaking cake addict. And, you know, I'm not going to get a corporate gift printed. I'm actually going to box cakes and just put a little sticker on there that says it's from my company. That's an incredible cheap way to go and personalize things for people in a corporate gifting point of view. You don't even have to go and print your logo on something, print a bunch of stickers, but get into the gifting mindset and put that sticker on the gift you give people. You will blow people away. And now we're actually getting into hyper personalization, before you even roll out your product, because hyper-personalization doesn't have to be the product and the service. It can be the way you court them before you go into the sales process. Look, by the time you're in the sales process, they go, look, let's just freaking do it, right? Let's marry. You go like, okay, whoa, just hold on. Let's just first see if it's really going to work, if it's going to be a lasting relationship. But if you get to the point where you're selling a person and they are like that, then you know they have seen your heart. And that's what the Love Carriage is about. The Trust Carriage is about helping them feel safe in your environment. It's like a date, right? Look, I'm not going to misuse you. I'm not going to cheat on you one day. I'm not going to do. The Love Carriage is, I'm making myself vulnerable. I'm showing my heart. Because what happens when you start showing your heart, there's real chance of rejection, right? But you're willing to do that. You're willing to stand in front of everyone at the networking event and see the person that's in your Trust Carriage and go, you cute little thing, I brought you some cake today, and you go and you enjoy the cake because I can see on Facebook you had a bad week. And then also do well-positioned introductions. As I said, you can do this for speakers, you can do it at corporate. It's just uplifting a person, you know. You can do it on social media as well. You bump into a person at an event. I mean, you're all here masters of reading intuition. You're all masters in reading energy, right? So you bump into a person, you see they're off, right? You can't put your finger on it. They got that smile. It's like, hello, how you doing? No, I'm doing fine. But you can see your eye catches them when no one's looking. You can see, not doing well at the moment. Something's off. Something's not nice. You don't say anything. You walk up to them. You go, hey, can we take a selfie together? You don't make them look crap in the selfie. You make them look nice in the selfie. You put a nice filter on if it's your thing. You go and you post afterwards, you know, bumped into, you know, Adila this week. You know, I don't think Adila gets what she deserves. I don't know if people know how highly qualified she is and the incredible heart she has. And actually people know about her incredible work in Saudi and the a connection she has and the shifts she's done energetically for people, and you know what she's been through and what an absolute trooper she is. Now she puts one foot in front of the other and post. How do you think Adila's going to feel? Adila's going to have tears in her eyes. That's what Adila's going to feel. She's going to go, finally someone to see me, right? And then next time you have a course, who do you think is going to sit at that course? Adila. Because you were the only one who actually took the time to make her feel better, right? About herself. So that is really make it special. And then find the root cause. This is strangely enough one of the most powerful ways to actually get people in your Love Carriage to feel that you are actually building a relationship with them. Audits, diagnostics, assessments. Why? Because finding the root of their problem does almost all these things I've mentioned before in one. So I always say to people, do assessment, but I don't explain myself well enough. So now I'm going to explain why an assessment is so incredible when you give people love. Number one, when you do an initial assessment on a person, let's say the assessment is going to tell you whether you are sane, semi-crazy, or nutbag, right? That's your assessment. So if you come out red, you're a nutbag, right? Lots of problems, right? If it comes out orange, you're semi-crazy, I think we may still help you. And if you come out green, look, you're good to go and live your life, right? So that solves already a problem for people to understand where they are. People don't understand where they are. So we are so solution-focused and how to fix a problem focused, we completely forget about the root cause of the problem. So you may be someone specializing in someone's confidence, but the reason why they don't have confidence is because they were traumatized by someone who left them for someone else. So what an assessment will do, it will say, look, you don't have confidence because someone left you, because your upbringing was crap, or for a different reason. And now the person go, oh, I never realized this. And what do they tell you? Jillian, thank you. You've not even sold them something. They've not even been in your products or services. You've just solved a problem sincerely for them with your audit or your diagnostic or your assessment, right? So they go, wow, I didn't realize that. So also, by solving the problem for them and coming to the root cause, you've saved them years and years and years of therapy. And what have they been doing? They've been going every single morning on YouTube going, how to improve my confidence. But they should have gone onto YouTube every morning and put in how to overcome post-traumatic stress disorder. You see, now they're going, oh, I never knew that. I never knew that. I'm completely on the wrong track. So assessments put them in the right direction. Also, make it special. Assessment shows them how good you are in the feedback you provide. So when you do an assessment to a person, you don't want to send them necessarily a report. You want to send them your personalized feedback, because then they can hear how good you are and how knowledgeable you are, but also they can feel your heart. They can see in the way you give feedback how you're doing it. You're not giving feedback like, sorry, you read, you're a nutbag, you lost. Your feedback is, look, you are red in this area, but there is solutions for this, because I don't want you to worry. Do you see the love in that? There's assurance, right? I also want you to know that even though this area is red, that you are doing okay in the orange area. It wouldn't take too much. It's a low-hanging fruit to get you to the green. And I also want to commend you on the green. You've done well here, so you're not lost. Do you see the difference? A report can't do that. A report can't do it, whereas a assessment with a personalized sort of feedback session can. And that's why the combination of those two in the love environment is so good. And if you now give them an umbrella during rainy season as well, you're building some serious love. And if you're introducing people as well, you're going to become very popular with people, because they really start feeling the love. That's why you get people out there that's 10,000 times better than you, people that's built corporates around what you have to offer, but they cannot do this and this many times. They can't, they're not activating the love potion. They don't have the resources. They don't have the key account managers. They don't have the heart to activate it. And this is why we call this a potion, because this is a differentiator that no one else can do but you. This is going to depend on your ability to be a conscious leader. This is going to depend on your ability to take the higher road when no one else does. And this is based on your ability to love at a certain level. So that is your love strategy. You can now go and develop a sales funnel sequence around this. And there you're going to put in the steps. You're going to say, okay, what is going to be my first step in my love carriage? What am I going to do, right? And use a profile, use a person's name like Chris. Chris, we're going to use it. We're going to say, so what is my mission to get a Chris in my money train that's value aligned, but no, we can differ, right? What am I going to do then to get Chris to trust me as an expert in my field? What am I going to do to get Chris to love the life out of him and make him fall in love with me to the point that he can never leave again? Enchant him, right? What am I going to do then with Chris? About what point does the sales conversion take place? And, you know, does the sales conversion taking place? And if the sales conversion is not taking place, why is it so low? And then when the sales conversion is taking place, how can I take this theme of love forward? By onboarding him, by making him feel safe, by working on the trust, and by keeping the relationship going, checking in with him, the way you're going to practice now with your family, circling back to a person, giving them a hug, making sure that they are actually thriving in the environment. Because why? The more you do that in your love carriage, the more you're going to get them to move to a step six, which means, I almost said step six. Then you're going to get them to move to step 6, which means they return to step 1. They return to the love carriage. And if that starts happening, you have a very, very powerful money train running. So what do you want to go and do? Study the Octopotion and decide on the trust and love strategies for your business. That is really 2 massive differentiators. And then go and include various love strategies as actionable steps in your sales funnels and measure its success. No AI can do it for you. You know, in fact, if you are outsourcing your business because you're scaling, you want to scale in the lead carriage area, you want to scale in the sales area, and you want to scale in the delivery of the products and services, the journey, right? But you want to, for as long as possible, stay in the lead and the love carriage. You can scale out of the lead and love carriage, Me and Mike are doing it at the moment by putting area managers in place and allowing them to build the relationships and loving people, but it takes a while for you to get there. So with that, I'm going to stop the screen share. And next time, it's my turn to come on. I'll be talking to you about the journey carriage, which is really retaining people. You got them now through all these areas. How do you keep them vibrant in the system so that they don't want to leave? But for now, I want to open up. We've got 7 minutes. So if there's any questions, please participate. I would love to hear your questions or your statements, or maybe you got a 369 portal aha idea that just downloaded that you want to share with us. I've noticed my name is Mike Hancock today. I'm on Mike's computer. So any questions or any statements or aha moments?
Landi, can I ask? So I'm looking at reconnecting with past clients and offering them a 6-session package, or would it be more advisable maybe to reconnect and send an assessment just to say, wondering about where you're at, we're living in difficult times. Would you be keen to complete this assessment? And then do I offer like the 6-session at the same time, or would it be something that I would do next?
Well, I would make every single touch point a separate carriage. So if you're going to go back to them and offer them something now, you're going to definitely lose them. You might get one if you're lucky, but you're going to lose them. It's like your old boyfriend returning. You're going to be like, what are you doing here? You know, I don't want to talk to you. So, you know, you have to, and that's how we treat our clients. We are old boyfriends and girlfriends returning, and then we're expecting them to marry us. It's never going to happen. So you have to go back. I would go as far back now as the Trust Carriage. I wouldn't even go to the last. You now have to regain their trust. So you have to go back and say, before the assessment even, I would just say, look, can we go for coffee? We've not connected. And I would go and take them to the best hotel, and I'll literally have 5 to 10 meetings a week. Now, people say, Landi, that's a lot. But if you are focusing on people in a specific area, you just put one meeting after the other, one after the other. You go sit in one hotel and you just line them up, right? If you're online and you've got a worldwide audience, you just have one meeting after the other. And you literally start the call with, I want you to 100% understand I'm not here to sell you. And you say, now let's talk. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me about your business. How can I be of service for you? What can I solve for you? What can I do for you? And some of them is just going to get off the call going, what was this? Right? Can it be? What just happened? But now you got them in an Excel sheet. And that's what people, they leave people on the floor. Now that you've done that, you want to maybe go back to them in a month's time or whatever and say something like, look, I've got a really nice mastermind coming up. Again, I'm not going to sell you anything. We're all getting together and we're solving each other's problems. And now the person's going to, you see, now you've conditioned them. Jillian doesn't necessarily want to sell me. Now they're going to be, now the sales objections is completely off. You've destroyed it. Now they come to your mastermind or your mini training or whatever, and they sit there and, you know, afterwards they hover around you and they go, look, Jillian, how can we work together? Or if they don't want to become a client, they're going to come and say, look, can we do an event together? They're going to want to be around you. So now this takes a bit of time, but either you get onto the train and start doing it and build this ecosystem, or every single person you approach is going to disconnect. Every single ex-boyfriend and girlfriend is going to go away, go away, go away, because you give off a smell like a skunk.
I hear you.
Think of yourself. What will you do if someone come back now? Hi, Jillian, I've not seen you for a while. Look, why don't you go look at my new program? I'm going to skip. I'm going to go back. Oh, Jillian, it looks wonderful. And I'm going to go delete.
Yeah.
I've just done that for all the event organizers that I had on my LinkedIn profile.
They're not pursuing you. They're not pursuing you. They're not enchanting you. They're not romancing you. You see, AI and tech's going to help us with the romancing process in the sense that it will remind us you've not checked in with a person. They're in your lead carriage. You've not taken them to your next carriage. It's going to help you profile to attract them. It's going to help you with strategies to make them feel safe. It's going to help you with all those things with your product development, whatever. But you stay responsible for how you make people feel. and you take responsible for taking the high road for diversity and for conscious leadership. I don't get that. May in a month's time. but at the moment not. So and that's really what differentiates you, and that's that beautiful human touch that should make you ultimately a very, very wealthy person. So if you think of this as the big problem in your business, then this is a fantastic problem to have. It's a stunning problem to have, because you can do it. You do it with other, but if you at the point in your life where when you use terms like, and we all do it, we're all guilty, so I don't think it's freaking the angel of the universe sitting here. I'm sick of people. I don't work with people anymore. I don't trust people anymore. We all, I've had it with people. I'm done checking in with people that don't do it anymore. I'm done. This means your business is going to go down, 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 because you're basically saying you're done with relationships. If you're done with relationships, you are ready to go to heaven. Yeah. Any more questions? We've got a minute left, or statements. Thanks for that, Gillian.
What would you say for event organizer then would be, like event producers and things like that? What would be a good opener to reconnect with them and give them value?
I think you have to find out what they love. Let's say they're wine drinkers or cake eaters, or that all the stuff that they love is go and make it special for them. I would go to, for example, if just as an example, if I was targeting a bunch of female event organizers, I would say to them, ladies, you've been working way too hard. It's half year. I'm putting a high tea up for all of us, and let's go and high tea and champagne together. I mean, I'll be there in 2 seconds, and then you just do your Claire thing. You build relationships, you gift them, next time you solve problems with them. You say to them, guys, you work with so many speakers and stuff. What do you hate about them? And they're going to say, I hate that they all give me a 5-page speaker sheet. Can we just get one slide that we put in our presentation for our clients? And then you go and say, look, I'm going to do a template for you and I'm just going to send it to you. And why don't you just send it out to all your speakers in future, and you don't have that problem? They go, you will do that for us? I go, yeah.
Cool.
With that, I have to go. And if there's any more questions, please, you all know where to find me. You can WhatsApp me and I'll be happy to answer it for you. I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon, Claire, in Bali. And we love you all very much. We'll chat very soon. Bye.
Bye.